Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to welcome Janis Vavere, co-founder of Trace.space, to the show today. Janis, welcome.
Nice to be here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you. So let's dive right in. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, well, I guess, a pretty typical background for a SaaS founder, I have a quite a typical journey in SaaS. So I started my career as an SDR, got promoted within a year, spent a couple of years really managing large accounts, so sort of enterprise sales, enterprise account management, and then joined a small startup as the first time sales leader and grew that startup from 30 people to 350 people and from 2 million ARR to 20 million ARR when I left within 3 years. So sort of saw quite a lot of stages of, companies and building teams and really scaling. But, when you invest so much time and effort into something that's basically becomes yours to some degree, you just feel like you should be doing it yourself. And I've been passionate about this industry that we are going into now. It's known as systems engineering, requirements engineering. You know, amazing people building very complex products and innovations or innovators basically. And now I'm building TraceSpace, a company making sure that those innovators are empowered and set up for success.
Well, let's talk about that now. So tell us more about what products and services you offer at Trace.space.
Yes. So when you build anything complex that has hardware and software in it, or just pure software, but when it's regulated, like a medical device, automobile, spaceship, all kinds of complex devices are actually built using a practice called systems engineering. And there's a bunch of tools that are known in that space, like maybe you've heard of PPC and the SALT, and there is also all the old players like Siemens and the IBM. But really, the sort of VC-backed SaaS have not gone after these markets for a while because we've been all selling B2B products to each other for a while now. And so now I think that there is an opportunity to build for the specific space. So for the innovators that are building products. So right now we are starting to build the requirements management tool, and then we'll expand into product lifecycle management and others. But it's really a product for engineers and innovators to document what they're building and how they're building and collaborating with each other.
Yeah, that's interesting because you said your background, you came from a commercial or sales background, and now you're in the world of engineering. So how did you end up focusing on this problem to solve?
Yeah, so when I was working as an account manager, I actually was managing large accounts for the systems engineering products. So I really spent a lot of time going on site to these companies that are building these products. I organized user conferences, and I really fell in love with this persona. And so when you think about the founder persona fit, then this was really it, because the systems engineering itself might be a little dry for a normal human, but the actual products that they're building and the people that are building are actually a lot of fun to talk to. Who wouldn't want to know how an electric Bugatti is actually built? So that's what we are doing. We're working with companies that are really building the future products and helping them do it faster and with higher quality and more efficiently.
Yeah, that's great. And so what industries do you focus on? Any industry company that has any sort of engineering effort, say like a SaaS company or manufacturing, or what industries do you target for your solution?
Yeah, at the beginning, we'll narrow it down to mid-market and small enterprise, automotive and industrial products. You think of, car batteries or any sort of device, integrated device that has a chip on it, it's connected to the control panel, ICU, and so on. But the actual product that we are building can be used for any type of product development. So, if you have a structured SaaS product team, they will be able to replace their sort of Confluence Notion setup with something purpose built for product development. But really, the most value, especially at the beginning, will get the people that use the practice of requirements management.
Okay. All right. So it makes a lot of sense. So initially targeting that kind of automotive industrial, but really you said any company that has some sort of product development goal. So interesting. And what year did you found Trace.space?
It's founded at the end of last year, and really we got going this year. So basically 2023.
Okay. So still pretty new. And where are you located? Is it remote headquarters, or do you have a headquarters somewhere?
The company is remote and distributed. So we have a few people in Latvia. We just hired someone in Romania, and then I'm myself traveling between London, Amsterdam, Riga. So it's everywhere. I spent the past 5 weeks in Brazil, so it's remote.
Okay, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And then what's your current team size?
So today we are 5. We are all about to close the 6th person, and I can't reveal from where yet, but from an amazing automotive name. So if you follow our page, you'll hear soon.
All right, that sounds great. And since you're relatively new, any revenue, or are you pre-revenue right now?
Right now we are pre-product, pre-revenue, but we are well on our way to building the product right now.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. And then you recently raised a 1.5 million, I think, euro pre-seed round, and you raised that. Tell us a little bit about that, because you raised that really. It sounded like I saw a press release with no product or MVP in hand yet.
Yeah, that's correct. So we were thinking a lot about what is the path we want to take with our co-founders, but we sort of made a conscious decision that we're going to go the VC path. So take the money right away, and so we had an conceptual architecture built already. It wasn't an MVP. It was basically we had a proof of concept that what we are thinking about building is going to work at the architectural level. And then we went to start speaking to basically potential design partners. So we got a bunch of people excited from automotive and industrial, and then we went to VCs with basically a proof of concept and a network of people that are excited about what we're planning to build.
And that's a really interesting progression. So you really, good lessons learned there for other founders listening. So you had no product yet, but you had a proof of concept, maybe say a wireframe or just the design, the concept. And then before going to get investment, you went to the automotive industrial companies to see if they would be interested, like you said, get some excitement, maybe get some buy-in, and then take those conversations, that excitement, and then sell your story to investors to get funding?
Yeah, so the full story is that we actually went at the beginning to the network of people in the automotive space that we had from the past experiences, but also just purely called through LinkedIn, through our cold outreach. And we started validating whether what we are wanting to build is actually a real, need. So we started at the beginning with very general sort of research interviews where we asked those systems engineers and requirements engineers to tell us about their product development process, and then to tell about the main issues that they have in that process. And that's how we crystallized the story, because we heard from the actual practitioners about what their pains are, and then that story basically was transformed into a deck. I think we had a pretty strong founding team, so I have quite a lot of experience in VC-backed SaaS. Mikos, our head of operations, is being in Chili Piper, also together with me in Localize, and our technical co-founder was actual practitioner, so he knew actually what he's planning to build, and he knew what he's talking about. So I think the three components when you go to raise a pre-seed are a strong team, a good sort of strong story, and actual validation from the practitioners in the space you're planning to go into, that they actually tell you that it's a real problem, instead of you trying to tell them or sell them something that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, and that's really appreciate that insight. So those 3 points again: strong team, you had a great story, and then actual validation through those customer discovery calls. And then when you went to pitch the investors, how did that go? Was it about selling your story, your experience with these discovery calls? What was the focus from the investor side when you went to pitch them?
The story, well, we kind of, someone already bought or believed in our idea quite early, and that made the rest of the process much faster. But I think we were also a little bit lucky that we met our lead investor so early in the process. But at the same time, we did sell the story, not just about what we are planning to build first, so this initial validation that there is the pain in requirements management, but we also looked at the whole evolution of the product and the industry, and we really thought about the latest trends that are happening right now in the world. Why now instead of 10 years ago or 10 years later, and so I think the story was sort of really focused on two things. First, that we know what we're going to build first, and that there are people that want what we want to build first, but also that there is also market for it. Not only market up to 100 million ARR, but up to a billion ARR. And that's what I mean when I mentioned these, Siemens and IBM and all these old, huge, software companies. They are like, they have $50 billion market caps, and they're just pure software for engineers. So obviously we're not going to take all of their market share, but there's a lot of room to go with a modern approach, which is not try to build everything at the same time, but there is basically focus on core jobs that the engineers need to solve, and expand. When you think about an intercom, for example, they have support chat, but they're also solving individual jobs. Like marketer can send out a newsletter easily. You can analyze some other stuff. So it's really making sure that you're clear of that what you're planning to do about the market, and that the market and the trends in that space.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, thanks for sharing that insight. And so Janis, as we wrap up, what's next for Trace.space? What's coming up next for the company?
We sort of not finalized, but we have a very strong team already in place right now. So we just closed an amazing product designer hire, and right now we are really going into execution on the product. So it's already, we've been building now for several months, so it's quite far ahead, but we've crystallized the individual jobs that we're going to be building now first. So maybe I wouldn't call it a full MVP yet, but right now we are into full building mode. And so that's what's next really is we have the team in place. We've already well on our way with development. Now we are just gathering more design partners, talking to our initial excited partners that will, provide us feedback of what we're building, and then we're gonna release something to the world.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's exciting. When do you think you'll be pushing out the MVP to prospects? Sometime this summer then?
It's towards end of summer, but it will be, it depends. I think that
Yeah.
within this year we'll have initial feedback from users if,
Yeah.
if we are going the right direction.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So, Janis, really appreciate your time today and sharing your background and story. And if listeners would like to learn more about your company, where should we send them online?
I think the best place right now is our LinkedIn page, trace.space. It's, website is sort of not our focus. We're very focused on sort of things that we need to get done right away. And we post a lot on LinkedIn, and about fun stuff, but also some insights and our observations. So I think that's the best place, where to learn about us.
Well, if you'd like to learn more, yeah, that sounds like let's go. I'll put the link in the show notes, but follow Trace.Space on LinkedIn so you get their latest updates. Follow Janis on LinkedIn, and I'll put Janis's link as well in the show notes. And Janis, really appreciate your time today and sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was good fun.